everybody, this is Donna Fisher, and I wanted to do a quick video on something that I've been thinking about. There's been a lot of talk recently, I know in some of my videos we put out about relationships and about endings that were occurring or about to occur, new revelations, new beginnings. I also put out a energy report yesterday for the new moon in Taurus that was specific to twin flames and sacred partners. So there's a lot of releases happening, a lot of letting go. And I just wanted to really talk about how important it is to grieve endings. And in order to heal those, you have to be able to feel and allow yourself the experience of feeling the sadness, the guilt, any emotions that come up because of the ending. No matter whose choice it is to end a romantic connection, a marriage, something that you have built for, in some cases for a long time. Your identity sometimes is wrapped up in this, with this other person, in this relationship. And especially if you have children with them, and and the longer that you've been with somebody, the more that you have, the more that you've collected over the years, the friendships, the family, the vacations together, the list goes on. I'm not going to really talk about the reasons why relationships break up or why this is happening, because I talked about that in my last video with Negla, my dear soul sister. And we really talked at length, like over an hour, about stuff like this and about how new relationships, the shifting of relationships were happening on this earth. So if you're interested to hear more about that, I would encourage you to watch that video. I just wanted to put something out because I felt in many cases that there are people out there that need to hear this message, and that they need to be okay with feeling these emotions that are uncomfortable to feel. And again, I think, like I was saying, no matter who chooses it, it's a loss no matter what. Whether you wanted it or not, it's a loss. And it's like it's like almost, it ranks high up there. Like if you are going through a divorce, it ranks high up there to actually death of a loved one. You can compare, it's almost, it can be, it's not the same exactly, but it is high up there. And like I said, even if you wanted it, because I can tell you from my personal experience, when I went through this, when I separated over 7 years ago, it was my choice. I'm not going to get into too much detail about it, but I still had to mourn the loss of it and the emotions that came up. And I had to be able to forgive myself and forgive my ex for the things that we, for it not working out. It's nobody's fault, really. It's not about blaming the other person. It's about just, you fall out of alignment. You fall out of love. You fall out of, whatever it was, and it took a while to process that and to release those energies and to really finally cut those cords. Because really a cord, is an invisible energy thread that two people have, and when it's with somebody that you've had a romantic connection with, that, you've had intimacy with, it's a stronger cord to cut in a way. And it takes time to heal that. So I just wanted to say that no matter how uncomfortable it is to feel those things that you are feeling right now, whether you are in actual physical separation already or not. Sometimes you start to emotionally detach from somebody when you're still living in the same quarters with that person, but you fully can't get there until you're not around, because the energy is still very present if you're in the same household. I mean, it's just stronger. I'm not saying it can't be done, but it is more difficult in a lot of ways. I mean, some people can do it, you know, especially if the marriage has been over for a long time and they both knew it. But if you're just starting to actually come to terms with knowing that this isn't the person you want to spend the rest of your life with, that this isn't the person that you thought you would grow old with at some point, that you start to once you start to release this dream, you know, that you had with this person at one point, these things are, you know, these emotions are going to surface, and it's normal. And it doesn't mean that you're having second thoughts. It just means it's very normal, because you actually start to think about, you know, your memories that you shared with this person. Maybe the love that was once there. And, you know, it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel whatever emotion that comes up for you. You know, and I have to say that sometimes you just feel numb, you know, because it's like unbelievable that you get to that point. Even if you've thought about it before in some ways, even if you haven't been happy for a long time, you just kind of never really reconciled it. You kind of just left it alone, and, you know, it was comfortable. It was, you know, it was serving its purpose in some way, whether it was to keep that family unit together, whether it was to keep your finances intact, you know, the lifestyle, the image, you know. I mean, it served its purpose in some way. And, you know, it's releasing those memories, and sometimes it's, you know, just kind of like thinking back through your head and remembering those things, you know. You know, when you're healed, when you're healed, you're in acceptance, and the only thing you feel is love and peace and closure. And sometimes it takes a while to get there, and sometimes it comes in waves, and sometimes it's up and down like a roller coaster. But life does go on. It does go on, and it does get better. And I can honestly tell you that, you know, it took me a little while to get there, you know. And there were other things that were distracting me, you know, from my full healing process, but I did make it a point to heal myself for a long time. You know, and every relationship, when it comes to an end, especially like this romantic connection, if you have had prior relationships that you never fully healed from, you know, in one way or another, and it could also be your childhood stuff, like as an adolescent or teenager, if you had circumstances and you've been, you know, with other people, and say, you know, there was a bad break off, you know, you really thought you loved this person, and you never really had the emotional maturity to figure it out, to actually be able to heal those things that you started feeling, whether it's rejection or abandonment or, you know, self-worth issues, you know. And some of it also could stem from your parents and how you were raised. So all of our relationships impact us in one way or another. If you never really got a chance or really knew or understood that there was things from past relationships that you never healed, they're going to come up. They're going to come up with every single relationship. And it would behoove yourself to really do your best to heal these things now, because you don't want to keep hitting that repeat button. You don't want to have these triggers or these wounds that are going to surface when you actually have somebody that you're with, that you meet, that you know, that's your true love, that you deeply connect with. Because if you're afraid to open up your heart to love, because you're afraid you're going to get hurt, you'll never be able to live fully. So in order for you to be able to experience love to the fullest, you have to allow yourself to feel, and you have to be able to allow yourself to feel that heartbreak, that heartache. And it's painful, and I know that. It's not easy. Emotional pain, in a lot of ways, hurts more than physical pain. And again, you may start questioning yourself whether or not you're making the right decision, but I can tell you that you can't avoid not feeling your pain by being with somebody because you don't want to feel the pain. Even though you know this person isn't right for you anymore, to stay in a relationship that is not serving its purpose, that you're not in alignment with, you know, after you've tried and you've tried, and you just know that you've grown. You've just grown apart. It's just, there's no other ways to put it. To stay in something because you're afraid to feel pain and loss. And sometimes it's even the unknown, you know, the fear of the unknown of what's going to happen in the future. To stay in something like that because of that is not living. You have to allow yourself the experiences in life. You have to allow yourself to feel uncertain. You have to allow yourself to grieve and mourn, just like anything else. You know, it's a part of life. We were taught at an early age a lot, like, that it's not okay to feel every emotion that you have. Like, I know when I was a kid, I wasn't allowed to feel anger. You know, I wasn't allowed to feel certain things. So I was taught, you know, girls weren't allowed to get angry. We were allowed to be sad and cry, you know, and sometimes you get called a crybaby. For boys, you know, it's like they were raised to be strong, you know, like they're the providers, and, you know, you can't feel those emotions because then you would be weak and vulnerable, and you can't feel that way. And it's just so wrong on so many levels. And I hope as a parent, if you're a parent out there and you have kids, I hope you don't you raise your kids like that, because it does have long-term effects. You have to allow each gender to feel exactly what they're feeling, and to allow them the space, the sacred space to feel that, and to be comfortable and to say it's okay to feel this way, and to hug them and love them and allow themselves to express themselves. Because if we all did that, if our parents did that with us, you know, it's almost like it's a generational cycle. It's like it trickles down. They can only be the parent that they're taught to be, and so on and so forth, unless you learn from that and know that you don't want to be like that. So I'm just saying, I'm not blaming anybody, but it is something that gets passed down. And I just hope that you, if you're watching this video, that you see that it can have detrimental effects in your children's relationships if you don't allow them the safe feeling, the feelings, just feeling safe to express their emotions in front of you, around you, and especially boys, I gotta say, because with boys, there is this gender difference, and it really shouldn't exist. You know, I think that every gender should be balanced, you know, to be able to be in their masculine and feminine energies, you know. And it's not to say, I'm not talking about sexual preference or anything like that. I'm talking about stopping the stereotypes. Stopping stereotyping a gender based on what they should look like. So allow yourself the time to process, to release this person that you were with, you know, and it's you know, sometimes, I mean, what they call it's like this, you know, like we're all made of energy. It's an energy release. You know, emotions are energies. Everything is energy, based in energy. So if you suppress that or bury those emotions, you're really trapping that energy inside of you. And like I said, when your heart cracks open and you allow yourself to feel those things that are less desirable to feel, you're going to allow more light and more love into your heart in the long run. And it does, and like I said, it does get better. It does. It takes time sometimes. And you'll know, because you'll be more at peace. You'll feel less triggered. It was nice. I felt something really nice the other day. Like, really, like, something that I haven't felt in a while with my ex. And it was almost like, I felt like an acceptance from him. Like there was more, he was more at peace with it. He had asked me if I wanted, you know, he was doing some kind of, we had a bunch of VHS tapes. Yeah, it's kind of going back. And he was converting them, and he wanted to know if I wanted a copy of the things with the family. And I said, sure. And he sent me a bunch of them, and I was watching them. And this wouldn't have happened 2 or 3 years ago. I could tell you that. It wouldn't have happened. It didn't happen. And I just feel something's shifting. And, you know, it's just coming more into the heart and more love. And I just, watching those videos, like, it brought back a lot of memories for me. And I realized the time that I had, it served its purpose. You know, like, that love can never go away. But I could see how, you know, things like I outgrew certain things. And it just actually solidified how I feel at this moment. But I felt like something happened, and it kind of helped bridge that gap between us. So, and again, that took time. It took time. It took a long time for that to even happen. And I'm still surprised. I still feel so much love in my heart for that experience, for him to give that to me. So just know that even if it doesn't happen right away, where you feel like you're on the same level with this person that you were with, that you're ending with, that it does and it can happen. And hopefully now, in the time that we're in, it won't take as long, because like I said in my last video, we talked about relationships with Negla. You know, like, with the earth is shifting and the vibration of the earth is ascending, and so is everybody else. So is every human being here on earth. And we're raising into a heart consciousness. So hopefully those relationships that end, that come to an ending, they'll be a little bit more peaceful and more based in love, and say, you know what? We realize things aren't working out, that neither of us have been happy. No matter what we've tried, it doesn't mean that we erase all these memories, because we've had a lot of life that we've shared together, a lot of love that we've shared together, and hopefully can be friends, you know, and hopefully can still get together around, you know, holidays, or with the children, with their upcoming events and stuff like that, to be able to just be an extended family in a way, like, just been not together though, you know, and to co-parent. And even if you don't have kids together and they're grown, or so you have pets together, I don't know, like, it'd be nice to just have somebody that you had a loving, at one point loving relationship with that person, to be friends with them. Look, the attraction faded. There's no intimacy there anymore. And intimacy is not just physical, it's on all levels, spiritual, emotional, intellectual. There's all these layers of intimacy, this deep connection. If it's not there, it's not there. You can't force it to be there. So allowing that, allowing that fact, the fact of what is, doesn't mean that you can't be friends with this person and share your life somehow. And then it wouldn't feel as much of a death as it would, as it may. I'm just saying, and for some cases it's impossible to be like that right away, so you may have to just fully cut it off. But the more emotionally mature each person is, and the more balanced that each person is, the endings aren't going to be as painful as they could have been if they weren't. So take your time. There's no magic number. And, I would advise you to reach out to somebody, to talk to somebody who's been through it. Talk to a good friend of yours in confidence, especially if you're a man. I know men don't like to talk about stuff like this. But I could tell you that just having that open ear and that level of understanding from somebody is all you really need. And it makes a difference, because the more that you hold on to things and you can't talk to somebody about what's going on in your life and about emotions, the more you feel like you have to bury it. So sometimes just talking it out allows it to be healed. I think that's any basis of therapy. Even if you want to go see somebody who's neutral, like a therapist or something, that could be helpful. Spiritual healer, somebody who does energy healing, like me, and I've been through it. So if you feel, you're called to me, that you would want personal assistance on your journey, I'll leave my information below this video so you have access to everything on my website. But it's most important to have somebody to talk to, or that can guide you somehow to help heal you, that comes from unconditional love and acceptance. You don't want to, the last thing you need is to talk to somebody who's judging you, or judging your actions, or telling you what you're doing is wrong. So, all right, so I think with that, I'm gonna end this video. I hope that this helps you, and if you feel somebody could benefit from this, please share. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to post them. And just want to say that, again, there's hope, there's love, there's great love to be had out there. There is a soulmate that's waiting for you, that has a deep connection with you on all levels. And this is the person that perhaps you would never have met, or you would never have been with, had you not come to this ending. And remember to forgive yourself and love yourself and nurture yourself. And forgive your partner for anything that they may have done too. It's important to forgive, so you're not holding on to that resentment, that lower energy. Okay, guys, All right, I love you so much. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Stay protected. Be healthy. Bye.